Forward. Of the many exceptional leaders we served alongside throughout our military careers, the consistent attribute that made them great was that they took absolute ownership, extreme ownership, not just of those things for which they were responsible, but for everything that impacted their mission. These leaders cast no blame. They made no excuses. Instead of complaining about challenges or setbacks, they developed solutions and solved problems. They leveraged assets, relationships, and resources to get the job done. Their own egos took a back seat to the mission and their troops. These leaders truly led. In the years since we left active duty, we have worked with multitudes of business professionals, from senior executives to frontline managers, across a vast range of industries, including finance, construction, manufacturing, technology, energy, retail, pharmaceutical, healthcare, and also military, police, fire departments, and emergency fire responders. The most successful men and women we've seen in the civilian world practice the same breed of extreme ownership. Likewise, the most successful high performance teams we've worked with demonstrate the mindset throughout their organizations. Since the publication of Extreme Ownership, we've heard from readers across the United States and around the world, those whose lives have been strongly impacted for good. They've told us how implementing its practices changed their lives and made them better, a more productive employee, a more supportive spouse, or a more engaged parent. Once people stop making excuses, stop blaming others, and take ownership of everything in their lives, they are compelled to take action to solve their problems. They are better leaders, better followers, more dependable, and actively contributing team members, and more skilled in aggressively driving towards mission accomplishment. But they are also humble, able to keep their egos from damaging relationships and adversely impacting the mission and the team. We've heard countless stories about how applying these combat leadership principles have helped readers accomplish what others or even themselves had previously thought impossible. Extreme ownership has helped people all over the world launch a successful company or nonprofit, receive major promotion, land a better job with greater responsibility, and move opportunity for growth. Hit numbers far beyond expectations. Achieve special recognition as an exceptional team member or accomplish their goals, whatever they may be. Every day we hear new stories, different people, different businesses, different industries, the different change. The characters are diverse. There are always slight differences in the way things unfold, but their outcomes are ultimately the same. I can't believe how well that works, is a common response. The principles are simple, but not easy. Taking ownership for mistakes and failures is hard, but doing so is key to learning, to developing solutions, and ultimately to victory. Those who successfully implement these principles run circles around the rest of the world. Since the release of Extreme Ownership, the fundamental principles of combat leadership that we learned on the battlefield of Iraq have been exposed to, understand, and implemented by hundreds of thousands of readers around the world. We've worked with thousands more individuals through our leadership consulting business, Achillean Front, and reached a vast audience on social media. We've also been fortunate to receive feedback from many of them on a daily basis. Their responses have been incredible. We've heard from readers who called the book life-changing, the best leadership book I've ever read, and exactly what I needed to hear. They explain how they have learned even more on the second, third, or fourth read through the book. There can be no higher compliment to us as authors than to observe the score of Extreme Ownership copies we have signed with multiple color tabs, markings well underlined, highlighted, and dog-eared pages with scribbled notes in the margins that serve as testament to the book's frequent use as a ready reference guide for engaged leadership navigating the challenges of business and life. Such testimonials and observations inspire us to work even harder ourselves. But what's been even more gratifying is to hear about the results. We got reports from military leaders on the front lines putting the principles to work against our nation's enemies. These leaders are leading up the chain of command to receive the green light for approval to launch on critical battlefield missions or utilize crucial resources. Chief executive officers of massive global companies detail how they have initiated extreme ownership in their organizations and observed their personnel throughout the chain of command step up and lead. We hear from first responders who utilize the lessons from extreme ownership in their official training programs to lead their troops in stressful and dangerous situations. All of their stories have reinforced what we learned in the SEAL teams. Leadership is the most important thing on the battlefield, and the principles of good leadership do not change regardless of the mission, the environment, or the personalities of those involved. Is leading. We worked with the division of a construction company that faced the grim possibility of shutdown due to systematic safety problems. But once employees implemented extreme ownership, the division not only solidified their right to operate, but it also earned a top position in safety at the company. We've helped companies streamline their manufacturing process, make deadlines on the delivery of product, and complete vast projects on time and under budget. We've guided young, capable, eager leaders struggling in antagonistic relationships with their bosses to implement the mindset of no excuses and no one else to blame. By taking ownership, checking their egos, and accepting the blame for a difficult relationship, they repaired relationships and regained the trust of their leaders. As a result, they achieved recognition above their peers and throughout their industry for exceptional performance. We've heard from leaders in the medical profession who tell us how explaining the why to their team and communicating orders in a simple, clear, and concise manner greatly enhanced their team's performance and saved lives in the operating room. We've watched fire department battalion training chiefs utilize extreme ownership as a handbook, teaching their firefighters to implement cover and move to better function as a team, enabling them to more effectively serve their communities while better protecting their firefighters in harm's way. We've seen police officers promoted into their leadership positions of greater authority and responsibility attribute their success directly to the principles of extreme ownership. A number of school teachers, educators, and coaches have told us how the concept of this book have made them better, delivering greater impact and improving their lives of their students and athletes. Pastors and mission groups have relayed to us how extreme ownership made their teams more effective, delivering greater impact to their lives of people in need. We've even heard from spouses who tell us how extreme ownership saved their marriage. Once they stopped pinpointing fingers and casting their blame on their wives or husbands, they were able to look inwardly at what they could take ownership of to produce a better outcome. As a result of their relationships were repaired and strengthened. To see such far-reaching, extraordinary impact is deeply meaningful to us. We wrote this book to truly help others, leaders and aspiring leaders, to lead more successful and fulfilling lives, become more engaged and effective people, to have a greater impact for good on everyone around them. Helping others live better lives is also a way for us to honor the legacy and heritage of those who we served with in combat, who gave their last full measure. We owe them everything. We believe in these principles because we have witnessed their extraordinary results, not only on the battlefield, but also in business and in life. We look forward to watching the message continue to spread far and wide and to seeing the mindset of extreme ownership continue to enable every leader, every follower, and every person to become even more effective and to fulfill their ultimate purpose. lead, and win. Get after it. Jocko Willis and Leif Babin, July 2017.